Hi, welcome back to Comic Book Gallery. I'm your host. If you give me just a second to walk on stage and we'll get this show started. How we doing, people? Hope you're having a good week. You should be having a good day today. Today's new comic book day. So let's start off with the Batman 57 variant. Now, before I started filming this video, I was watching a few videos of other people, and Key Comic Book Market Watch showed this, and he didn't like it. And I could see why he did not like this book. Excuse me. But I'm going to tell you what I did like about this book and the reason why I picked it up. Not that many people get perspective right, and a lot of comic book artists do not get perspective right, and I'm going to show you a good example of that after this book. So, as you can see up here, I love what he did with his perspective and how he got his arms and the motion and I guess the intensity, what he was trying to do. What most people are probably not going to like about this all just blends in. You should have had more highlights hitting, so at least this doesn't just look like some kind of blob. So while he had the foreshadowing here right, he needed one more cross source light just to pop a few more things out. But this right here, his hand too, you need a little bit more foreshadowing. I mean, not more foreshadowing, a little bit more highlights to pop that out. But I love the flow of this, people. And look at the intensity. I like the placements of the bats. I mean, you want to look at a good example of getting perspective right? This is a good example of getting perspective right. The other thing, that the reason why I have this book open is because in a previous book, I liked what they were doing when you opened up the book and the sense of direction that they were creating. So right here, first panel, you're building up suspense. Hope you're getting all that. I won't know until I look back. Hopefully I'm getting all that. I don't want to redo this again. But a good job overall. But I agree with him on why he didn't. I don't know exactly why he didn't like it, but he said he just didn't like it. And I could, when I'm looking at this, I could tell that could be a possibility. But I do like this cover's perspective. Now let me show you something that had good intentions and almost executed it correctly, but failed. Not a big fail, because at first you don't even notice it, right? I didn't even notice it when I picked up the book. I picked it up because I'm reading Extermination, and I'm really enjoying the storyline. And I'm looking at this art, and my first reaction to this art, I was like, wow, this art's pretty good. It's a nice cover. He's got motion going through. But then when you start looking at this art, you're like, what the hell is going on here? Now, this is a minor key for me right here. So her legs up in the air, okay, fine, but it would have been better if it would had her leg down and it shows her running, right? And he's leaping. I mean, they're all leaping for whatever. Maybe it's a Toyota endorsement and they're all jumping in the air. But I don't understand why they kind of messed that up. But the big thing, here's where I think they really got this right. Like with God, I cannot remember her name offhand. So there's Thunderbird or Warpath, and I think that's Tabitha or Boom Boom. I want to say that's Boom Boom. And there's Cannonball. So right here, here, and here, I like these three poses. Now, don't get me wrong. I still enjoyed the cover. Like, my first reaction was, I like this cover. But then when I started really looking at it, because that's what I do as being an artist, I realized it doesn't look that well. So for people who want to learn how to do perspective correctly, take pictures of yourself, of what you want to do. So like with the Batman pose, if you want to get that done right, you just take a picture of yourself in the bathroom or whatever, the mirror. And if you're right-handed or left-handed, you put the camera in the opposite hand, and you just cock your fist back, and you take several shots in different angles until you get, a few good angles that you want. You do the same thing where you're getting your other hand back, and you start working with your body position, start tilting your head, and you're going to have like 9 or 10 different shots, and to use all that information to have a great picture. Apparently, when he drew Domino, he didn't look at it that way. Because if you look here, why does Domino have the gun pointed at her head? I mean, I know she's good luck, has good luck powers and all. And what's this? Why is this gun just so awkwardly pointed? If she's up in the air, if anything, this could have been a good pose. Anything like that. Not I'm pointing a gun at my head loosely and this gun was going like this. What is that? So these are the things that I'm going to pick out, people, because I'm an artist. And when I start showcasing my art, I know I'm going to receive the same type of criticism. But that's actually a good thing. Because as being an artist, you need to learn to accept criticism about your work so you can improve. Not all criticism you're going to agree with. You might look at it and say, well, that's just the way I did it, and that's the way I'm going to keep it, and that's my style. To, I should probably change Domino shooting herself in the head and this awkward scene right here. But overall, like the cover, great use of color, great action, minor details. And the only reason why I really was paying more attention to this is because I watched the video on Key Comic Market Watch, and with the Batman, I started looking at it. I was like, well, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. And then as I was looking at my next book, I was like, oh, wow. There are so many mistakes here that I should point out. So now that we've got that art lesson done, let's move on. So Justice League number 9. I had to pass on this book. In fact, I had to pass on number 10 too, because I have a budget that I'm trying to keep on new books for about 20 plus tax. And I break it all the time. But on average, I have a budget of 50 to 60 bucks a week. And you're going to see why I do this, because the Key book that I just picked up, which I'm going to talk to you a little bit later. But, this is a great cover. You got a lot of action, Flash. Great story with Justice League. I love reading this. I mean, I did not want to pass on this, but now I'm just picking up the variants that I can, that I like picking up. And most of the time, the variants I pick up are the books I'm usually reading. There are a few exceptions, but this isn't one of them. I'm really enjoying Justice League, what they've done with it so far. I stopped reading Avengers for the moment. It's just not a book where if I've got to make cuts every week, to be honest, I'll probably be picking those up once they start hitting the dollar bins. I'm not that excited about what they're doing with it, but if they have a cool cover or they drop a first appearance character that's relevant, people, just because they drop a first appearance character doesn't mean they're always going to be that relevant a year from now. So we're going to go on now that I've got off my little soapbox. So, Venom number 1 annual. Now, I remember the days when you did an annual, like at the end of the year when they were doing comics. And it was a thicker book. So, they're charging $4.99 for a book that has pretty much the same amount of pages that they would at $3.99. And the only difference is they're saying it's an annual. There should have been more story to it. So, I'm looking forward to reading this. I'm enjoying this new Venom run. And if you're a Venom fan, or if you're looking just for a cover to get at cover price, even though it's $4.99, this is a good book to get right here, people. I mean, this is great artwork. And I hope you can appreciate that. I mean, I know a lot of people are because they're buying this. Okay, so X-Men Black Mystique. I thought the cover is okay. I mean, I bought it more just to keep with, I've been buying all the variants that show them holding, with the mugshot pose. So that's the reason why I bought this. Plus, it's X-Men Black. And it's a really good Mystique story. I read this book because of, also they have an Apocalypse story, so I want to see where they go with that. So I enjoyed the Mystique book. It's just a little interesting no, not interesting. It's a good story about her powers that most people don't appreciate about her. But then again, that's partly the writer's fault because they don't do these type of stories about her and about her powers and what she can really do with them. So, and here's a book that had missed out on when I was buying books. I had to by the time I got there, everybody had bought the Amazing Spider-Man #5, and it's a cool cover, and this storyline's okay. And this line right here, Amazing Spider-Man, is on the chopping block for me. Um, I'm not that impressed with the story, and when they had did the whole mini clone story for a brief moment, it made me want to not read any more Spider-Man. But then when they wrapped it up really quick, and I saw that Kate Craven was coming, I picked this up. So this book and the next book threw me off my budget. In fact, I spent like 30 something dollars, $33. But I love this cover. And I think Craven's a really good villain that people don't appreciate how badass he could really be. Oops, sorry about that. Try to keep this PG-13. But this guy kicks butt. And I'm really hoping that Marvel can get him to face Black Panther. Because this is a guy who could take on Black Panther. He's smart, he's cunning, he can match him in strength. He could throw like a powder or a gas on him, on Black Panther, that would reduce him down or make him equal. And then you could have a good fight scene. I mean, there's so much you could do with this guy. There's one of the reason why I got into Craven so much is because I think it was called Craven's Last Hunt. And it took place over the various Spider-Man books where he gets into a confrontation with Spider-Man. He then hits him with some kind of nerve gas. And, Spider-Man is just kind of joking with him. Now what are you going to do? Blah, blah, blah. But he's kind of scared, but not that scared. And then Craven pulls a rifle and aims it at him. And he's like, whoa. And he's like tripping out because he doesn't know what he's going to do. And then they end it, I want to say, because I'm going to be buying that trade back. And I'm also trying to collect on the series right now. So you think he kills Spider-Man for a moment, but he doesn't. All he does is knock him out. He then buries him. It puts him like in a coma for like about 2 weeks. And there is a villain that Spider-Man's having a problem with. He goes and tracks down this villain, whose name is Vermin, beats the crap out of him, takes him, cages him. Spider-Man gets out, goes and deals with Craven. Craven's like, I already won. And he releases Vermin, and they get into a fight for a moment, and then Vermin escapes, and he goes, you can deal with Vermin, or you can deal with me. The choice is yours. And Spider-Man's like, I'll be back for you. And so he takes off, and Craven kills himself. He's like, I have no more to accomplish. And, I skipped over an important fact. He then takes on the suit of Spider-Man and starts being Spider-Man. So that was a great story. So that right there made me appreciate Craven and what he could do. And there are a lot of B-rated villains. And at the time, Craven was like a C-rated villain that's moved up to a B that could be an A. And I feel that there is a lot of villains that could be like that if you have the right people writing them. And, sorry, I got lost in thought, but maxing out their potential of their story and who these characters are. I feel like lately that all they're trying to do is just pump out first appearance, so we can buy these books and sell books instead of going back to some of these characters that have been around and give them the proper story that some of them deserve, which I felt that they did with Craven on The Last Hunt. And so this is a book that threw me off budget, and I had to get Teen Titans. If I wasn't reading Teen Titans, I would be grabbing this just for the color on this book. Love this cover. And I love reading this version of the Teen Titans led by Damian. So last issue, you find out that oh, I can't remember his name offhand, but you think he dies. Spoiler, he's on the cover, so you know he's not dead. And there's a couple of funny lines in here that I actually want to show you without giving too much of the book away. And if you're not reading Teen Titans, you should be reading this book. I mean, Damian as Robin has a secret headquarters that I don't even think Batman knows currently about, or Batman doesn't know what he's doing, because Damian is secretly holding villains down there in his own prison. But, okay. So right here, you know, they're talking about, I thought you were dead. And he makes some, he's like, and this whole time you're sitting at home eating chicken wings and playing Pokemon? And this response I thought was so funny right here. He's like, Pokemon? What am I, a 42-year-old guy who sleeps with a Sailor Moon body pillow? Because I don't anymore. I started busting up laughing when I first read that. And if I spoiled that before you have a chance to read that and read that segment, sorry, but I'm not going to show any more. There's another funny line in here, and I'll leave it at that. But if you are not reading Teen Titans, you are missing out. And now we're going to get to what happens when you just cut your budget on new books. So we all know that, or if you don't know, you're living under a rock. Because if you're collecting comic books, you should be watching Netflix and watching Daredevil. Excuse me a moment. And Daredevil Season 3 is coming out. So I'm trying to show people that with a budget of $25 a week, at the end of the month, you can save up for a key book for under $100. Oops. First of all, this person right here, who I bought this book from, I'm actually going to give a shout out to sellmycomicbooks.com. I've only bought one book from him, but I was impressed. So look at this. Great packing job. So all this cardboard for this. I picked up this Daredevil for $60. Oh, I say 60. I should have double checked my notes. But I thought this was a great pickup. First appearance of Bullseye. And he did a good job. A lot of people like to tape this book down, which I'm somewhat okay with. Excuse me. If you really want to send a book right, so you send it bag and board, and then you bubble wrap it, and then you can put it between the two cardboards. And then you tape that, and the bubble wrap it will keep it secure between the little gaps right here, because it will be almost even with this. But nevertheless, I'm very happy with this pickup. And I'm looking forward to the show. The next on my list I'm going to be trying to get is the first appearance of Kingpin, but the conditions I've been seeing lately on eBay, for the price that they want, I'm not that comfortable. I'd rather spend the extra 25 to 50. I'll spend $100 to get a 7.5 to an 8.5 of the first appearance of Kingpin. But, I'm so happy I got this. This was on my list ever since I watched the first season of Daredevil. I was like, you know that they're going to be doing Bullseye at one point. I just had other priorities. Let's get a chance to get a close-up of this book. And I'm trying to keep this under time, but I want to list a few things off of the channels I was watching today. I wrote down little notes. Daz, the Key Chaser, he was talking about Pennyworth is going to be getting his own series. So he did a video on his, I liked his video. I left a comment thanking him for letting people know about that. And now I'm letting you people know about that. You people as being my subscribers. If you like what you see, hit the like button, leave a comment below. Tell me what keys you're picking up, and if you're able to save away $25 a week, to get a great key. First edition. There are a lot of books under 100. And if you're new to the channel, what's up? And hit the subscribe button. So he was talking about that Pennyworth wasn't even added till 1969. So Dad's the Key Chaser. You should be watching him. He's got a few good videos. I just started watching what he's putting out there, and he keeps me informed on some things. And he was talking about that this book is an affordable Silver Age book, and that the first appearance of Alfred was fat, and then after a while they brought him back, and I guess he went on vacation and lost some weight. But it's pretty interesting. But I'm looking forward to seeing a series on Alfred, because anytime Batman gets in trouble, Alfred's able to save him. Alfred's, you're going to find out that he was in the war. He has somewhat surgical skills, because he's always patching up Batman. He's got medical skills. He's got combat skills. And yet he's a butler. I want to know why he took on that job of being a butler. So it'd be a cool series to have to show the background about who he is and why he chose to serve that family. Next up, currently right now, these are the two videos today. So Daz, the Key Chaser, go check him out. Key Comic Market Watch did one video giving away some books. So it's about to do another video. So you should be watching him too. Comic Tom 101, great series. I might as well give a shout out to all the people that I watch normally. Jim Mint Collectibles for statues and Omnibus. And there's another boy he has with him. I can't think of his name offhand. Normally I would have this list, but this just came spawn, I wanted to just highlight two people, but really I should be talking about the other people I watch. Another person who's always dropping information that's very useful and on the spot is We Love Comics. And I've learned a lot from him. The other person that I like watching, and I think his name is dope, and he has great soundtrack music coming into his show, is Lords of the Long Box. Give a shout out to him. The next person is Comics with Bueller. He's doing a great video on Wolverine that I started to watch, but then I looked at the time and I was like, man, I'm watching too many videos. I got work. I got my own videos. I got other projects I need to get done. It's like 2:30, losing daylight, people. But I like to do work while I'm watching these videos. But he's doing something on Wolverine, so I had to stop watching I stopped watching like the first 5 minutes in, but I'm going to go back and watch that video. So that sounds like that was a good video, and I'm all about Wolverine. He was my first favorite character. Love the X-Men, always will. I want them to do good stories about them, and I feel Marvel, now that they have their rights back, will be able to. And that's going to do it for this week. I don't know how long this video is, but most videos I try to keep under 10 to 15 minutes. But I had a few things I had to get off my chest, and I'm really happy about this book. Getting a Key, Daredevil, first appearance. This better be first appearance. I hope I did my research and didn't mess up. They're like, sorry, Joaquin, you got all excited, but this is his third appearance. I'd be like, no, why? So anyways, that's it. I hope you are enjoying your comic book day and that you have a good week. And it's great weather out here in Seattle, which is the other reason why I'm trying to wrap up what I have to do so I can go out and enjoy it. All right, people, take care. Gotta walk off stage and give you one more chance to look at this book while I can, now I can see what you guys are seeing and give you one more chance to really get a look at this. And I'm going to leave it into the description what I actually paid for this. And I know this is a long video for a short amount of books, but I'm just trying to give you some information about what books I collect. And, I'm an artist, so I'm going to comment on art. By the way, this is really good when it comes to perspective and the flow of how they want you to look at this book. So that'll do it, people. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hit the like button if you're new. Remember, hit subscribe. Thank you. Take care.